Hey, everybody. Before we start the episode, we recorded this preview yesterday, and on the IMDb for Blind Date Book Club, it did not mention Erin Krakow at all on there. And maybe I should have researched it a little bit more clearly, but it didn't, and it still doesn't have her on the cast. And they released the poster and more information. So obviously, our conversation in that section is going to be incorrect. So apologize for that mistake. But it happens. We try to do these previews as thoroughly as we can with the information we know at the time. So yeah, there we go. And I hope it'll be a great movie. It looks like a lot of fun. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are here to talk about upcoming movies for March and April. It's very exciting. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Jax is here.
I'm so excited to be here. I haven't seen you in too long, so I'm glad that we're back at it together.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because we actually recorded the Girls Just Want to Have Fun recap at the end of January, and it just posted this week. So you'll be on the podcast twice this week, but we actually haven't talked for over a month.
It's been a time job.
And y'all have to forgive me because I'm not at full voice. I was hit by super bad hay fever. And so my body did not like Texas. It did not agree. So
No, thank you. Take me back to Utah.
yes.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk about the movies coming to Hallmark and a couple up TV as well in the months of March and April. I'm not including the ones that have already aired. So this is kind of your Spring into Love preview and other things. But let's dive in, and we'll go with 1 to 5 flowers, depending on your excitement level. So,
I like
and
that. But
yeah,
not non-pollen flowers. No,
right.
not getting pollen.
Allergy free.
Yeah, allergy free.
Yes. And if y'all have any great allergy tips, put them in the comments. That will help because it's an adventure, that's for sure. It's such a bummer too, because to feel all stuffed up and miserable when it's like so beautiful outside, it seems so unfair.
Yeah, it just seems so counterintuitive for how you think you want to feel in beautiful weather. Like even in the winter when you get sick, it's still awful, but you're like, okay, under a blanket, I'll be all
Yeah.
cozy. But when you're wanting to go out and do things, especially when you're on a trip.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right, let's dive in. So the first one that we have is Shifting Gears. This is on the 23rd, and it stars Tyler Hines and Kat Barrell. It's directed by Jan K. Crystal Lowe and written by Matt Marks. And it's after female mechanic Jess reluctantly agrees to participate in a car restoration show, she is shocked to learn that her ex-boyfriend Luke is her main competitor. Will sparks reignite? So what did you think? You've seen the trailers, you've seen the thing. What do you think about this one?
I mean, this one I'm super excited about because I love Kat. I have a major crush on her. I think she's fantastic, an incredible actor, and a really great person. Tyler Hines has incredible chemistry with almost anyone. So I feel like he and Kat are really going to have a lot of chemistry in this one. And I think this is exciting because of Crystal Lowe directing. I love the Make Her Mark program that Ashley Williams started. And, Crystal Lowe is a great actress. So I'm hopeful that she's going to be a great director. How are you feeling about it?
I guess I'm excited for Crystal and this Make Her Mark program. I think it's really cool. And that this would be the first one. I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity that they didn't have a diverse cast. I mean, it just seems like in this, like why I kind of wish that Crystal was the lead. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that was too much for her to take on, and that would be understandable. But um, it just seems like a missed opportunity in something that's supposed to be sort of promoting diversity and female voices and stuff like that. Like nothing against Tyler or Kat or anything, but why not also use that as an opportunity to have a diverse cast, and it's a totally white cast.
Yeah, and I think with Hallmark, it's yes, have we given them credit where credit is due, and are they being more diverse in their casting choices and in front of behind the camera? Yes, but still, I think you make a really valid point that for something like this, that the eyes are going to be on it in a certain way because of this being the first um movie with the Make Her Mark program. Why not use that as an opportunity to really
Yeah.
do a more diverse cast in a myriad of ways?
Yeah. And I would not have put these two together. I think that I don't know. I mean, you're right. I do agree that Tyler can have chemistry with basically anybody. But I don't know. I just wouldn't have thought of the two of them together for a movie. But it sounds cute enough. I think the premise sounds nice, and I'll be curious to see what Crystal can kind of do with it. And so I'm definitely excited for the Maker Mark program.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I was casting this, um, I and probably just because I love them on Good Witch together, but I would have had Kiana Teresa as opposite Kat. It's like then we also have some racial diversity and we have a lovely lesbian romance. Like
Yeah.
Tyler, I love you, but Kiana, bring it on.
No, I would have loved that too. I think that would have really been, I mean, that would have made a big impression. But yeah, even if you'd had Crystal in the lead, I mean, I think I thought that they would have had like interesting chemistry and I don't know, just be a little bit different. Or um Donna Benedicto, I could totally have seen her in this role. She would be great.
Yeah,
Um,
I think Donna would have been really interesting, especially because I associate her with being so like feminine and girly and getting to see her play this mechanic who can
yeah.
also be feminine and girly, like of course. I think it would be very interesting.
I mean, what's interesting is that they had this last Christmas, they had this movie, Christmas by Design. And in
Mhm.
the book, Jingle Jammies, which it's based on, the lead character is a female mechanic. And the man is a fashion designer, designs in the book, designs jammies. And I was told that they made them change that around so that the guy was the mechanic and the girl was the designer because they couldn't have a female mechanic. So it's interesting that, well, and probably that they just assume that a male designer is going to be gay. But it's all ridiculous. So it's interesting here that
Yeah.
we have a female mechanic, but I guess if she's the love interest is also mechanic, then it's like fine.
Yeah, like okay, we're okay with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably give it like 3 flowers.
For me, this is a 4.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So then we have An Easter Bloom, and this is on the 20th. And this stars Amy Teagarden and Ben Hollingsworth, director Anthony Mimecci. And struggling to save her farm, a woman enters a winter floral design contest. So what do you think about this?
At first blush, this is not a premise I'm interested in at all. However, Amy Teagarden, I think, is an incredible actor. I think she brings a lot of vulnerability and nuance to all of her performances. I also think she's just really funny and
Yeah.
vibrant. So I'm looking forward to it. This is just so not my bag for a storyline, though. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
the storyline sounds very bland, very bland. The Save Her Farm, she enters the contest. With good writing and banter, it can work. We've seen these tropes, that end up being really fun. But yeah, I agree. The story. I mean, it sounds better than the last Easter movie, at least. The Easter Under Wraps. That was rough. That was
Rachel,
really.
sometimes they're Easter. Why are we doing this? Why are
It
we doing
was
this?
so bad. Like everything about like the the giant chocolate Easter egg, was going to save the company, and the fact that he wouldn't recognize Fiona's character when she was like the daughter of the head of a small company that was like it was ridiculous that she could like undercover boss him.
Right, right.
So
And
funny.
especially because she's so attractive, it's like, dude, you're gonna know. Like, come on.
It's ridiculous. That one was very bad. And I do feel like so far in none of the Easter movies have they actually used the tropes of Easter very well. Like if I was going to write an Easter themed Hallmark movie, I would have there be some kind of hunt involved, like an Easter egg hunt, right? And like, how cute would it be if there was a movie where a person finds the Easter egg in the Easter egg hunt and it's got a diamond ring in it and then he proposes? Wouldn't that be
Um,
adorable?
I love that. And my friend Cassie, who I was in her wedding last summer. Hi, Cassie, if you're listening, that's how she got proposed to. And it's adorable. And
Yeah,
fun. I
yeah.
agree with you. I think they could go in interesting ways. They could lean into all the tropes of Easter and all that fun. Or like if you want to, make a
Yeah.
religious Easter movie. Like, but
Oh,
don't
oh,
do what you're doing.
yeah. Also, the winter floral design that does feel a little bit like the Tulip movie. Oh my gosh, the Tulip movie. The Tulip movie was so boring. I just it was bad.
The way
But
you said
I mean Ben Hollingsworth has been on a roll. He hasn't had a bad Hallmark movie in a long time. So that's good sign. And then Amy Teagarden, yeah, she's like at first it was a little bit hard for me to accept her as an adult lead because I had a hard time because I just seen her. She has such a young face, I think. And because I knew her as Julie on Friday Night Lights and everything. And but I think I finally have moved on and I'm okay. And I've liked
like
her
she's
last
an adult, it's fine.
Yeah, I've liked her last bunch of movies. I really have. So that gives me the most confidence is this pairing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And especially the fact that I'm much more character driven than story driven in what I like. So I am optimistic, but
Hmm.
we shall see.
Yeah. So how many flowers do you give this one?
It's going to be a 3.5 because of our leads. What about you?
Oh, I was gonna go like a 2.5.
It's
Yeah.
so funny. That's what I was thinking originally. And then when you were talking about Ben Hollingsworth, I was like, that's true. So yeah, that was my instinct. But not that you talked me into it, but I was like, Rachel's getting me pepped up for this one.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Okay. All right. So next we have the Blind Date Book Club. And this is on the 6th, and it stars Robert Buckley and Hilary Jardine and director Peter Benson, writer Nicole Baxter, who has done a lot of winners. She's a bit uneven. She has a lot of not great ones too, but she's got some really Presence of Love. It's one of my favorites of recent memory. It's a Nantucket bookshop owner known for matching others finds connection with a best-selling author who visits her store. So Robert Buckley is the best-selling author, I think. And yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty cute. What do you think?
I mean, when we were talking about the last movie that literally I can't even remember the title of now, a few seconds ago, and I was like, oh, this is so not my bag. This movie is the opposite. I love a bookstore. I love books. I love matchmaking. I think this sounds really, really cute. Robert Buckley is great. I really like him on screen. I love Peter Benson. I don't know Hillary Jardine,
Yeah, I don't
but
know her either.
yeah, I mean, I just Googled her and she looks like a delight. So I'm, I am very excited and hopeful about this one. Honestly, even if it's not that well executed, which I think it will be because I trust Peter Benson, even just having all these elements in it together, it's probably gonna hit for me. How about you?
Yeah, I just think the premise, and I like Robert, and Peter does had a pretty good track record. Um and so yeah, I it has a nice supporting cast. Joanna Newmarch is in this. So I like her. And so yeah, I'm gonna be optimistic and give this one a 4. I hope it sounds fun.
Yeah, this one's a 4.5 for me. I'm very, very excited.
Yeah. All right. So then we have The Legend of the Lost Locket, and this is on the 13th. This is Natasha Burnett and Viv Leacock, director Michael Fair, and writer Michelle Ricci. When an antiques expert takes on a quest to find a long lost locket that promises to bring the wearer true love, she finds herself in conflict with, but also attracted to, the town's sheriff. So, what do you think about this?
I really like Natasha. I really like Viv. I love mysteries. Um, this is an interesting thing though, and I don't know why. For some reason, I don't like the legend part of it doesn't intrigue me as much. I think sometimes then that means it'll be more historical, and that's usually not something that I'm as interested in. However, the fact that it's a mystery and two leads that I really, really like, um, I'm excited about this one.
Yeah. I'm
What do you
really
think?
surprised that this isn't on Hallmark Mysteries.
I was actually going to say, I'm. Why do you think it's not? Do you have any theory? Because it sounds like a mystery.
Well, I mean, unless they're only doing like franchises now on the
Okay.
new because of the new channel. I don't know. But yeah, it sounds like a mystery to me. So it was surprising. And I am happy to see Natasha and Viv in this, and they already have good chemistry on Calls the Heart. So, I think that it will go a long way. Michael Fair, he's a reliable director. It sounds a little boring to me. And a lot of times when they try to do the signed, sealed, delivered, where they've got like a letter or a locket or a charm bracelet or a photograph, a lot of times those are kind of boring. And that's my only worry. It
You
sounds a
know,
little.
it's interesting that you say that because I think what I couldn't articulate about the legend thing and about the locket thing was that for me, I do feel like it does move slower. So a little bit more boring. Like I
Yeah.
think I want to see these two um in a mystery. Maybe not this one.
I think
But
because
I,
oftentimes they're not as bold as Martha Williamson is in her writing with Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and whereas she will have these characters really tested and really face some tough stuff. That they've had all kinds of different things, and you're so invested in the characters as well as Signed, Sealed, Delivered, which very exciting. We should say they just announced today there are two more Signed, Sealed, Delivered movies coming, which I am shocked because they've kind of ended the series twice already. They've done the champagne toast. They've done and I was really surprised that they were bringing it back for another one. Of course, thrilled, but then bringing it back for two more. And they're so lucky that everybody is available. I
yeah,
mean, you think of these busy actors that they can even do it is kind of amazing.
it's really exciting. Postables everywhere rejoice.
Yes, you did it. Congratulations.
That's Powerful fandom.
Yes, yes. So I'm excited about that. This one I'm gonna give 3. I'm glad that they're so far a lot of their diverse casting has been with unknowns, which is fine. But I like the fact that here we're using 2 of our known talents, and that hopefully that because the ratings have not been good for any of the Mahogany movies, unfortunately. And that bums me out. And I feel like maybe if they used talent in the Mahogany movies that people knew and have an attachment to, that there might be more of a chance of getting people to watch them. I don't know, what that barrier is, but the ratings for the Sense Sensibility were terrible. And that bums me out because they were really trying. And I mean, some of those Mahogany movies have been absolutely terrible. So, but that one they really did try, and so it bums me out that the ratings were so bad. And and so anyway, with this, I hope that will help it get better ratings. Is the fact that the people we know these actors.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right with that, Rachel. Like, I think a big part of the appeal of Hallmark is that they do have this stable of actors that they go to over and over
Yeah,
again. That it feels like a family. Yes, you have to bring new people in, and they should, of course, from time to time. Yes, we all enjoy that. But I think you're right. I think the fact that, Viv and Natasha are already beloved characters on a hit show, why not utilize that?
yeah, yeah. So what would you give it? How many flowers?
Um, I'm actually going to give it a 4 because that's hopeful that they will make it not boring, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by W Rated, the podcast where we willingly watch the world's worst rated movies. Join me, Daisy,
and me, Claire, as we break down the IMDb Bottom 100, choosing a different film from the list every episode.
We take a deep dive into the plot, production, release, and reviews, usually with a special guest, to uncover if these films are truly as bad as everyone says they are.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Good Pods, and anywhere else you find your podcasts.
All right. So then we have Falling in Love in Niagara. This is not, as far as I can tell, a national parks movie. There's no like a national parks romance. No, even though Niagara Falls is a national park. So I don't know what, why that's the case, but um this is on the 20th of April. It stars Jocelyn Houdon and Dan Janot, and it's director Marita Grabiak, and it is written by Carly Spale, who that's sort of my one hope for this movie because I mean I do love Dan, but uh Carly has done some really good stuff, mostly for Lifetime. But Christmas Pen Pals, one of my all-time
Oh,
favorites.
right. Yeah.
Yes. And then she did Snowed in Christmas, which is so good. And so she's really talented. So it gives me a little bit more confidence, but it's the summary. After her fiance leaves her before their wedding, Madeline goes to Niagara Falls to honeymoon without him. There, she reconnects with her adventurous side, learns to let go, and finds new love. So, yeah, I mean, these national parks movies have been terrible. I mean, a lot of them you can tell aren't even filmed in the national park, which, I take issue with. And the way that they have tried to acknowledge the Native Americans has been so clunky, so badly done that it just doesn't work. Uh and so yeah, they've been bad. They've been pretty bad. But I do have some hope for this one, but I don't know. What do you think?
I really like Jocelyn. I really like Dan. I think they're both just like so cute. But meh, like this isn't again, it's not really my favorite story. I don't recoil at this storyline, but to
Yeah,
me, it just seems like basic standard fare that doesn't intrigue me, but I feel like it's going to be one of those that I actually think it won't be bad, but it won't intrigue me that much. Like I'm right in
yeah.
the
Yeah, I'd probably still give it a 2, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
What
think
about you?
I think I'd give it a 3. I'm just like right in the
Yeah.
middle of I think it'll be well done. Here's the thing. I think it'll be well done. I just don't think it's gonna make my favorites list.
It just makes me wonder why they didn't make it a national park. Is it, I guess maybe it's the Canadian side?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'm
I
curious. Or
don't know.
maybe they were like, we obviously can't do these very well.
Yeah, they've been bad. Oh man. All right. So then we have on the 27th, we have Branching Out. This stars Sarah Drew and Juan Pablo de Pace. To help build a family tree, single mom Amelia tracks down her daughter's biological father. It becomes a journey of trust, love, and discovering the meaning of family. And it's interesting now because they have moved over to exclusively mysteries on Hallmark Mysteries channel now. We're getting some of these dramas on the regular Hallmark channel.
Yeah. And Sarah Drew's an incredible actor. I maybe it's just like the time, my mood lately and what I'm enjoying watching, but I'm into darker stuff, funnier stuff, more fast paced. This one is not one that I'm really looking forward to. However, I think it's gonna be really, really beautiful. And I think a lot of people are going to connect with it. It's just not something that is lighting my fire at the moment. How do you feel about
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'll help once we have a trailer.
it? Hmm.
So we'll get like a little bit of a better idea of kind of what's going on and the tone and everything. But it's too bad because Sarah is so good at comedy. It's like Sarah
Yeah.
and Nikki, they have kind of pigeonholed in these dramas. And it's like, come on, let them be funny.
It's and also like I think something that I haven't I'm sure they've done it, but I just can't recall it. And please let me know if you can recall. But I feel like even tragedies, like absolute tragedies, are better when they have comedy in it because it's that stark contrast of that's like life. All of it like sits side by side. And I
Yeah,
feel Hallmark has not quite figured out how to get comedy into their
yeah,
dramas in a
it's
way that
true.
feels authentic and just
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, most of the time these attempts to do women's fiction, which this I would group that in that group, have not been great. I mean, there's a couple that have been watchable, but most of them have just felt rushed. And it's just so much harder than the rom-coms or the mysteries where there's such set tropes that it makes it easier to
yeah.
tell the stories in these dramas. I mean, it's just hard to get it all done in 80 minutes.
You're right. It gives you something to hang your hat on with these tropes. And when it's something that needs a little bit more sensitivity or finesse or,
Yeah.
it doesn't,
But
it's
like
hard.
Sarah Drew, Twinkle All the Way, Christmas Pen Pals. I mean, some of the most wonderful rom-coms of recent years. And so let's get her back in the rom-coms.
Yeah.
Please, please. I'd give this one a 2.5.
This is a 3 for me, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Okay, we have One Bad Apple, a Hannah Swenson mystery, and this on the 5th of April. Allison Sweeney, Gabriel Hogan, Victor Webster, Barbara Niven, director Shannon Coley. Hannah Swenson has been asked to teach a baking class at the college in town, but her equipment is tampered with, causing an explosion that the fire department rules an accident. Soon, a colleague ends up dead, and Hannah begins to put together the puzzle of mysterious circumstances surrounding the murder. Hannah leans on her friends and family to collect the breadcrumbs of foul play. That's a good line. Right. And put them together and meets a different side of law and order when Lake Eden's prosecuting attorney Chad Norton enters her life. So a lot going on here. We've now Cameron Matheson signed with GAC. So we have Victor Webster coming in, which I have not watched a single Murder She Baked or Hannah Swenson. So this is my big blind spot when it comes to Hallmark. But it doesn't really make sense when wasn't Gabriel Hogan also a love interest for her in the story?
Yeah. I actually haven't, like, these are ones that I watched and enjoyed, but kind of passively. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like things are on, and I love a mystery just be on in the background, but I thought he was.
Yeah, so I don't understand why. I mean, I haven't seen him, so of course I don't understand. But why not just if Cameron's going to be gone, just make Gabriel the main, love interest?
I wonder if they still need like that new energy to like anchor it. You know what I mean?
Because I know a lot of the fans are really annoyed about this, very annoyed,
I
because they left it on kind of a bitter end. This last one, that people didn't like, and so yeah, it's weird. Why not just recast? Why not just have Victor Webster playing Cameron Matheson's role? Like,
I
who cares?
I have questions in the sense of like, okay, mystery. God, gosh, I'm just gonna sound so like bitter Betty still, like, talking about this, but they had to end Mystery 101 because Jill left the network, but
Hmm.
or hadn't even really left at that point yet. And they're continuing this, even that it just seems
Yeah,
like
I think the reason that Mystery 101 got canceled, I think the reason was because it was a more expensive show to do than the typical Hallmark show, because when you have two American actors in the leads, you do not get the same
right.
benefits. Yeah, you don't get the same things from the Canadian government. So it makes your show a lot more expensive. And so I think that's the main reason. Plus, of course, you have Jill and Christopher getting like super, busy and everything. But the thing that I fault them with is you do not give that kind of cliffhanger ending unless you are 100% sure you have gotten scheduled, it's happening. You do not do that unless you are positive that it is happening. And so that's where I fault them more than anything else, because that was so unnecessary and stupid.
So unnecessary.
It was just like a little coda that, and especially like once they must have known or gotten some inkling or at least been unsure. They could have easily removed that last little scene.
Right. It wasn't an integral part of the story. Like you said, it's just like
No,
in there. So there was no reason to leave that in, nor was it the intention of the writer to have that on if it wasn't going to continue. So the whole thing just kind of
it was so stupid,
twist.
unbelievably stupid.
I
Uh,
don't get. I do, I like Victor Webster. I really like Allie Sweeney. Like I said, I've watched these kind of passively, but I always kind of enjoy throwing them on. Um,
uh-huh.
I'm always more interested, even if a mystery sounds sort of like middling to me, I'm always going to be more interested in it than I would a rom-com that sounds like it's just going to be kind of average.
Yeah, I wonder if they could get the tax with Gabriel Hogan. I wonder if he's like enough of a lead because
Yeah.
he's Canadian.
Also, it's interesting that he's listed second there, which might mean that
Yeah.
he's number 2 on the call sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that's even if he's
Right.
actually not the love interest, because it's clear from the description that Victor Webster character is the new love interest. But if they, that might be why Gabriel Hogan is listed as second,
I
because then
think
they
you're
could
right.
get that. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But I mean, I can't really give a flower on this because I haven't seen any of them. I just haven't. And but what do you give it?
I'm gonna give it, am I allowed to give it 3.75?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 3.75.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
Okay, then we have Curious Caterer Foiled Plans. And this on the 26th. It's Andrew Walker, Nikki DeLoach, director Paul Ziller. Goldie Berry's medieval feast at Hyde Castle gets interrupted by a murderer. She teams up with Detective Schultz to solve the mystery before the murderer strikes again. And it just makes me laugh because I mean you have like, this baker who's getting all these murders, and you've got this caterer, and they're going to stop hiring her. The murders
What?
accompany everything she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I have to admit, I have not been a big fan of this series. I found them to be kind of violent. Particularly the one where they had Nikki like strapped down to that, like the bad guy was gonna inject stuff into her, and it was like, what?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just haven't loved them. So I wish that they were doing anything else with Andrew and Nikki instead of this.
Is this the third one or the fourth one?
It's the fourth one, I think.
Okay, because I loved the first one. I thought the second one was okay. I had no memory of the third. And so I have not seen the third one. Um, yeah, I love these two together, as do you. I think these are pretty good mysteries. I think that because of the two leads and because, I enjoy a case, of course, I like them. Um, but it wouldn't be my favorite mystery series. And it probably wouldn't even be one that I would be that into if it wasn't these two in the leading
Yeah.
role.
We've had Grilling Season, Fatal Vows, and Dying for Chocolate have been the three so far. So then this is the fourth. I don't
Um,
know. I just wish they were just making fun rom-coms together instead of this. So I give it like a 2. I'm just not that interested. Although the medieval part of it could be fun.
that's also what I was thinking. So for me, I'm giving it a 4 because I'm like, okay, maybe this one's gonna be my favorite one.
Maybe.
We'll see.
All right, so we have 2 for UpTV. We've got Sweetly Salted, and this is on the 17th. Lainey McCauley and William Martinez, director Anne Forey, and writer Lindsay Stidham. Allison remains notoriously anonymous when critiquing restaurants, but when she accidentally goes viral for trashing a new restaurant, her editor insists that she makes amends by going undercover as a prep cook for the chef she maligned. So, this is an interesting summary for me as a critic because I don't think that she should have to make amends for her review unless it wasn't bad and she was just making it up. Like if she shouldn't, like if it's a bad restaurant, then that's her job as a critic. Like yeah,
Yeah.
you can do it. I guess there are ways to keep to be kind as possible, but sometimes that can come off as really patronizing, like
Yeah.
sometimes you just don't think something's good and you try to give your reasons as well as you can, but it's your job as a critic, so she shouldn't have to make amends. So that's my concern about this, is they better do a good job of showing why she needs to be make amends, because that's her job. She's a critic. She's reviewing the restaurant.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, first of all, yes to all of that. Second of all, like, why do they, especially because it's a new restaurant, what power do they have that they feel like she even has to make amends unless the person who started the restaurant is somehow related to someone at the newspaper? Like, I'm wondering, like you said, how are they going to connect the dots here?
Yeah. It says her editor insists she make amends by going undercover as a prep cook for the chef she's maligned. She hasn't maligned the chef. She's reviewed the restaurant. That's her job,
Yeah.
you know? And so I think my view on this is probably gonna be different than a lot of people's, because I know what it's like to be a critic and to give a negative review of something. And you try to be as as kind as you can, but in the end of the day, sometimes things are just not working, and you have to give a negative review, and it's not it's just the way it is. So I'm suspect of this. I give it 2.
Yeah, for this, it's interesting because I'm almost more interested to watch this
Yeah.
because of how I'm like, how is it gonna make this work? Like, did she say something truly like nasty?
And
Like,
I think Sweetly Salted, I think that's her critic name, like her.
oh, well, that's kind of cute too, because it's like she's sweet and salty. So she probably
Yeah.
kind of funny when she says the negative things. Like that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
I also do just think it sounds like a even though I agree with you, fundamentally it's flawed. I think it just sounds cute that she's going to be a prep cook and have all those wacky antics. So I am looking forward to this one. I would give it a 3.5.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then we have Writing a Love Song, and this on the 31st, and Nina Kiri and Connor McMoon and director Cal Coons, and it's got a bunch of writers, Katie Breyer, Eric Dushman, and Janelle Smith. When aspiring music producer Chloe lands her first gig working with former rising star Dustin, they race to create an epic song of the summer that will save his career and her job and spark feelings that neither can ignore. So, what do you think of that?
I can imagine that this song that is going to anchor the movie is going to be good. I have a
Yeah.
feeling it's going to be so cringe. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just
Yeah.
think I can't see I can't see for what I know the budget of these movies to be for them to be able to find a song that really hits. However, I do think that this could be really cute. The music movies for me are all over the map. I know either I'm like fully invested or I'm like
Mm-hmm.
checked out. So we'll see how this one plays out. What do you
I
think
am
about
a kind of a sucker for a man in cowboy hat. So
it?
this guy could do it for me, this Connor McMahon. And but yeah, I agree with you about the song. I mean, that's the thing about Just Jake, which was last year, is that to have Rob Mays, he's like a real singer. Like he's put out albums, like he's
Yeah.
legit. And so like having him involved gave it an added credibility that
Yeah.
I don't know any of these people. So but it could be fun. I'll give it a 3. I'll be optimistic.
I think I'm sitting at a 3 as well. And also it might be one of those that is worth it for the bad song at the end that we can laugh about, or we'll be
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised.
And they also have on UPtv, they have The Chosen coming up, and the Ten Commandments, some other things more like Easter focused coming. So check that out. But yeah, I'd probably say my most one I'm looking forward to the most out of all of these. I would probably say Blind Date Book Club. It's probably my most anticipated.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. Let us know what you think of these upcoming films. Where are you excited? Put it in the comment section or on Twitter. We'd love to hear. And Jax, where can people find you?
At Jacqueline Collier on Instagram.
And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And also check out the Hallmarkies podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And if you are listening and watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have the Patreon group and merch store. So please take a look at that. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.